So I get to go home and tell my kids that BTS opened for me. I did not expect that when I woke up this morning. And I know that you're all here to talk about trimmed mean inflation, and you're as excited about that as you are for them. So thank you for hanging in here. I just wanted to provide a little bit of context to the economic focus of the day. As you all know, the President just concluded a meeting with Chair Powell, along with Secretary Yellen and myself. It was a very constructive meeting focused on the outlook for the U.S. and the global economy. And I won't go into detail of the private meeting other than to reinforce that the President underscored to Chair Powell in the meeting what he has underscored consistently, including today, that he respects the independence of the Federal Reserve and will provide the Federal Reserve the space and the independence that it needs to tackle inflation. Also today, the President published a op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, and I will just give you a little bit of context for that piece and how we are thinking about economic priorities here. So 4 quick points. The first point is there is no question that the global economy right now faces a range of significant challenges. Inflation is first among them. It is a global challenge. We learned, for example, today that inflation in the euro area hit an annual rate of 8.1%. And it is a challenge that the President understands is hitting American families and creating anxiety and also economic hardship. As he said, he gets this. The second point is that as the President is making fighting inflation his top economic priority, it is really important that we recognize that we can take on inflation from a position of relative economic strength. That is true if we look in the global context. Few countries are better positioned than the United States to make this transition and navigate this transition that the President talked about today from historically strong recovery to more stable, resilient growth. If you look, the reason why we have those economic strengths is the strength of our recovery, the historically unique strength of our recovery. At the center of that is the labor market. You all know the statistics. I won't belabor them, but suffice it to say we have the strongest labor market in modern history, which is not only creating job opportunities to move into new careers with better pay for millions of Americans, but it is also pulling more people into the labor force. And in fact, we've seen the most rapid labor force participation rebound among prime age workers of any of the last 4 recoveries. And we're also seeing that in terms of the strength of household balance sheets as well. Savings is up, debt is down, bankruptcy filings remain near pre-pandemic lows, eviction filings are 30% below their pre-pandemic levels. All of these are sources of economic strength from which we can now focus on bringing prices down. The third point, this was an important piece of this, which is that the President's talking about this transition and growth. As we move through this transition, our economic growth should look different than it has in the historic recovery phase. We've run this first leg of the race at a very rapid clip. That has put us in this strong position relative to our peers. But this is a marathon, and we have to move and shift to stable, resilient growth. And that's why the President's outlining the plan that he wrote about today, which is something that he has been focused on here for some time now. Core to that are the 3 elements that he flagged. The first is nominating quality people to the Federal Reserve. He has done that. He got an opportunity to speak with Chair Powell today. strong, incredibly credentialed bipartisan group, and we are hopeful that the Senate will move to confirm the last of his nominees, Michael Barr, without delay, and giving the Fed the independence to operate, which is critically important, particularly at a moment where inflation is elevated, but cannot be taken for granted, which is why the president is reinforcing it publicly today. Second is lowering costs. How can we make things more affordable for typical families during this transition period? And the third is lowering the federal deficit, which will help to ease price pressures in the economy. That is, on those second and third, that is the focus, the president's economic focus, the focus of our economic team. Many things, many of the steps therein are things that we can do on our own with executive action. There are also places where we need Congress's help and to work with Congress. But that is our overarching focus when it comes to the economy right now. So that is the context I want to provide. Happy to do whatever Corinne tells me to do.